Shalom Aleichem. We have here 40 Days of Caring by from the Chofetz Chaim Heritage Foundation. We have here something from Rav Yaakov Galinsky Zatzal. He says a story from the book. Let's take a look at it right now. Kiruv cut short. By Rav Yaakov Galinsky Zatzal told this story about the steep price of jumping to conclusions. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. When we see something, we shouldn't jump to a conclusion. The Reiners had a beautiful Shabbos table, and they decided that they should share it. Okay, they decided that they should share it. Why not contact a Kiruv organization and ask to be set up with non-religious Jews who were beginning to explore their roots? The Kiruv organization sent Dr. and Mrs. Werther to the Reiners' apartment for a Friday night meal. The Werthers loved the warm, uplifting atmosphere that surrounded them at the Reiners' table, and soon they came back for a second and third visit. Then, after their fourth Shabbos meal at the Reiners' home, the Reiners were escorted down the stairs of the apartment building and out to the street by their hosts. The Reiners watched the couple walk away, and then, to their shock, they saw them flag down a cab right at the end of the block. Mr. Reiner wasted no time calling the Kiruv organization and expressing his disappointment. We're supposed to be helping them become Shomer Shabbos, and they catch a cab right on our block. This obviously isn't going to work. Please send us someone else. The Kiruv organization obliged, and a variety of other guests began sharing the Reiners' Shabbos table. Then, one day, about a year after the Werthers' last visit, Mr. Reiner received a call from the Kiruv organization. Remember the Werthers, the couple we sent you at first? Sure, said Mr. Reiner. Well, Dr. Werther passed away and his wife is sitting Shiva. She told us that she used to enjoy her visits to your home, so maybe it would help her if you could go be Menachem Avel, to pay them a Shiva call. So she told us that she used to enjoy her visits to your home, so maybe it would help her if you could go be Menachem Avel. The Reiners went to pay Mrs. Werther a Shiva call, and she was clearly happy to see them. Had your husband been sick, Mrs. Reiner asked her. No, she wasn't. This time he just didn't get to the hospital soon enough, she said, sadly. What do you mean this time? Mrs. Reiner asked. Well, it wasn't his first heart attack. But the last time it happened, we had actually just left your house. Since my husband was a doctor, he recognized the signs of a heart attack, and we flagged down a cab right away to take us to the hospital. They saved his life. So that was the time that the Reiners saw them flagging the cab. The Reiners sat silently, contemplating the enormity of their error. How could they have known? But on the other hand, how could they have just assumed? So much opportunity had been lost. All the names have been changed. Dedicated Le'ilui Nishmas, Reb Isaac Aryeh ben Reb Chaskol HaKohen, Zechrona Levracha. So go for it. Think, inquire, reframe, and think a dozen times more before you decide that you need to cut someone out of your life. In other words, the Dr. and Mrs. Werther, they were benefiting a lot from visiting and going to the Shabbos table by the Reiners, and the reason why they called a cab was because of a great emergency. So this should have been taken into consideration. They shouldn't have right away said no. Oh, what is going on? Mr. Reiner wasted no time calling the Kiruv organization and expressing his disappointment. So in other words, he should have perhaps thought about it, maybe even asked them about it. They should have asked them. So in other words, think, inquire, reframe, and think a dozen times more before you decide that you need to cut someone out of your life. So this is 40 days of caring. Build the habits that build your blessings. Daily 3-minute Shmirah Haloshon lessons, plus 120 true stories to bring the message home. Chofetz Chaim Heritage Foundation. Artscroll series. So this here is a vart also of Rabbi Yaakov Galinsky, that's all too. We sometimes learn some of his Divrei Torah as well. So this is something that he told this story. Kiruv cut short. In other words, one shouldn't be so hasty to come to conclusions. Okay, so anyway, this book is 40 Days of Caring. A good jar. Gemar Chasima Tova. Oh, Tov.